to you by Kollectin. Shop or run the world's tiniest boutiques with Kollectin.
Welcome to Girl Influence Power Podcast. I'm your host, Nadia Lee, entrepreneur, jewelry designer, CEO, co-founder of Collectin, an app that lets you shop influencer and designer labels direct from the source. Thank you for tuning in live on Castbox. This episode is brought to you by Collectin, shop the world's tiniest boutique in partnership with Castbox. So today, my guest is Anja Skoda, the beautiful biotech engineer, scientist, entrepreneur, and founder of Happy Again Pet. Her company, Happy Again Pet, is here to change every dog's life by giving them the most effective collagen supplement to improve their joint health. She and her equity partner, Cesar Milan, the very famous dog whisperer, have joined forces to change the dog world. Using her 15 years of research experience specializing in tissue engineering of cartilage and skin, Anja has created an amazing supplement that will improve and prolong your pet's youth. Welcome, Anja.
Hi.
Hi. I actually have that bag of supplements in my kitchen. I give it to my dog every day. Thank you. Actually, he doesn't like to eat my pet food. But then once I put that in, maybe the smell or something, so he actually starts eating it.
They love it.
Yeah.
Even if it's all natural, there's no flavors added. But dogs love it.
Oh, okay. I think dogs can sense when something is good for them. If I actually, I think that helps. So let's dive right into the conversation with you. Mm-hmm. So you have a background in science. So tell me a little bit about that journey being a scientist, and were you always so interested in science?
That's a good question. I loved genetics in school. So that was the reason I wanted to become a scientist.
Oh, wow.
And when I tried to find something to study, I looked up something with genetics and gene technique, and I found biotechnology. Oh. And I wasn't really aware of that journey
right.
when I started. So I started studying, and the first 4 years are only engineering because it's an engineering subject. So I was nearly quitting 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's difficult, huh?
It was a lot of math.
Okay. Do you enjoy the math part or no?
No. It's like math for engineers. It's very different. And I think the only reason I got through is my father always told me, you never give up what you started. You have to start. You have to end that. Finish it.
Right.
And then my math professor was luckily a woman, and she took me aside and said, look, you can do that. You just come to me after class and we'll look through it. And she explained it to me, and it was actually fun in the end.
Oh, okay.
But I think that was a big part of, I saw that she could do it.
Right. So having a mentor really makes a difference,
right?
Oh,
yeah.
And having your father. Yeah, you couldn't come home if you like, oh, well, Dad, I quit. So what is it like to be, you're originally from Germany.
Yeah.
So what is it like for the audience who've never been to Germany? And you'd be surprised, a lot of audience have actually not been outside of the U.S. What is Germany like? What is childhood like there?
It was very protected. I lived in a little, it was Berlin, but Berlin was divided.
Right.
So we lived on the west side in an American and British sector.
Oh, right.
And it was really like an island in the country. So it was different the first 11 years. When that was the case. We had relatives on the other side walking over. So it was really a different experience that people probably cannot really imagine. But other than that, I would say I could walk to school.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't that much driving around. I thought it's pretty much the same as here.
Oh, yeah. It's very clean, though, is it? Compared to here. Well, compared to some parts of LA. Because because my impression when I first went to Germany is like, wow, everything's so clean, or at least so organized and structured. Yeah.
Yeah, it is organized.
Yeah.
Maybe Berlin is really different from the rest of Germany.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's a different city.
Oh,
it's
right.
very multi-international. There are a lot of people moving there from all over the world, and a lot of startups, and that community is built in Berlin. A lot of artists, because it's cheaper to live there, which is changing, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So were your parents always supportive of you going into science?
I was the only one in my family that went to college.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
And they actually probably laughed at me more than once why I'm doing this. I think they never really understood why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And probably they still don't. At least my father. But my mom was very supportive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She actually got me into the biotech because she met someone from the university, so I could get in, and it's not that easy.
Right. No, because Germany's university and educational system is very different than that of the U.S.
Yes.
So, like, there's a lot of exams when you're young, and those exams can actually determine your career, right? So,
the grades.
Yes, the grades. So, how does that impact who you are, the self-awareness in any, while you're getting into school and getting your education?
I have to say that I was not the best student at school because I was most of the time in the stable riding horses. So in the end, I had to take a break and really concentrate. So I would say it was easy for me because I didn't have to study so much to get through. But I wasn't putting that much effort into it. It started more when I found something that I really liked, which was biology and genetics, and that was really what I concentrated on, and that's why I wanted to get into this field.
Right. So that was the major that you sought out, and that's where you just kept continuing. So it's quite very, very persistent. Outside of school, was there any particular inspirational instances that kind of shaped you or your childhood or growing up?
My mom would probably say that I was always around animals. If there was a dog, you could find me on the floor with a dog. Or horses around, and cats. I always had animals, rabbits, cats, dogs. So I just loved to be around them. And I was pretty shy as a child. So I always felt secure when I was around animals.
Oh, that's true, because they really do bring you happiness in a different way, because they don't judge. They're quiet. They're always happy to see you.
They love you.
Yes, exactly. Especially with food.
Exactly.
So now, when did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
I think right when I was starting to study, it's a long study, it's 7 years. I always wanted to do something more than what I was just learning, and working at a pharmaceutical company. I felt like I'm just a number doing something that is really, really far ahead of time. And I wanted to do something that I could see and bring to people to help. And science, bring science to your daily life.
Right.
So I did a couple of others, entrepreneurial things before Happy Again. And I started my own event company and run that. And I felt always really good to be my own boss. Right. And decide what I want to do.
Exactly.
So I think pretty early on I realized that's what I want to do.
Would you ever go back?
No.
Having your own hours is so good.
Yes. Even if I think you really work more.
Right. Actually, yes.
If I see friends of mine that are in the corporate world, they can go home and they can just shut their head off.
Yes, that's true.
And they don't have to worry. So I think there are pros and cons, but you just have to love it.
Right. If you love it, then you don't feel it because you're passionate about it. Yes.
That's why I feel like every startup should be started out of a passion.
Right. It shouldn't be about oh, wow, startup is a fashion. It's fashionable right now. So because that's what a lot of startups, and I've met some founders too. They're like, wow, startup world is just such a fashion right now. Everybody could be the next Facebook. So I'm going to try to go out and do something, or trying to find some product maybe, or do something that would make me a billionaire. Not even a millionaire, a billionaire.
Of course, they have high goals.
Yes.
They also have to see the journey. It's
exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
Yeah. It's it's a passion project.
Yes, totally.
Yes. And most of the time you feel like you are poor.
Exactly.
Right? So if you don't like that pain and suffering to go into,
You should not. Just find a good job.
And then also there's always this talk about women being in STEM. That's very, very, very difficult because there's a lot of barriers. So for those who doesn't know what STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. Okay, so what advice would you give like young girls who wants to be future scientists? Or if even your daughter, if he's like, hey, I want to be a scientist like you, Mom, what would you say?
Well, I'm trying to support her. But what I have to say, it was really hard because there were not many women in my class. And we were 80 starting and 20 actually graduated.
Oh, wow. That's a huge portion that dropped out.
Well, because of the engineering part. They really tried to get you out of that the first 4 years. And not many women. And I feel like there was never a role model that you could look up to. Because the scientists nowadays it changed, but back then they were hidden in the lab. And, and I mean, as a woman, you also want to do fun things like fashion and go out to events. And that wasn't part of science back then. And that's why I feel like I want to show my daughter, like with science, you can be your own boss, you can be your own, you can start a company and invent things that help people or dogs.
That's true.
And help to make the world better.
Right. That's
As
true.
we talked about influence, I think that's a major part of
that's true.
Startup to be able to do that.
Because I think that support is, so you said your teacher was very supportive to help you get through the difficult part of engineering.
In math.
Yes.
There were others that were not that supportive.
But there was not that support, right? Not easily.
No.
And what about other students? Do they support you too? Or is it difficult to talk to other women who are in the same program?
In the beginning, it was difficult because I had a different agenda, a different background. I was going horseback riding. I loved fashion. Most of them didn't. And so I found later on a very good friend that we worked a lot together with. But mainly the guys also didn't like that they were women.
Right.
So it wasn't that easy. It was not like now. I feel like now being a woman is the best time.
That's true. Very lucky.
There's so much change, and
exactly.
But it wasn't like that when I was studying. Nobody really particularly wanted me to be a scientist.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
You're going to get kids anyway. Why are you studying 7 years?
And you can't look fashionable. They feel like you got to be a geek, right?
Exactly. I actually had a professor telling me that the first time.
Really?
Like, maybe you should do something else. Study fashion or...
Really?
Yes.
Wow. we like as entrepreneurs, we have a lot of these, where we feel like there's a little bit of a discrimination because of the gender, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because they feel like you can't do it or you look a certain way. So you should be doing this, or you're too beautiful to be doing engineering. Yeah. But really it's changed a lot.
It changed, yeah.
So tell me some other people who are influential in your life. And, how do they shape you?
My parents, probably. I was fortunate enough that my father loved to travel. And we traveled to a lot of countries, so a lot of cultures.
Right.
So I wouldn't really necessarily say that a certain person influenced me. I think it's cultures and different places and just experience all this living in different countries as well and speaking different languages. I feel that is a big influence in your life.
Right. Your English is so good. It's because you guys all speak English in Germany too, right? It's part of your education.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Because
I'm always surprised because a lot of my German friends, I'm like, how is it that your English is so good? Because I meet a lot of other, people from other foreign countries, and some they have a very heavy accent. It's sometimes a little bit hard to understand them. So. Now, you were a little bit of an entrepreneur when you're in Germany, and now you're an entrepreneur in the U.S. Do you feel like there's a difference being an entrepreneur there and being an entrepreneur here?
Yes. It's a much bigger community here, much more supportive.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you really get, if you meet people here, everyone wants to help each other.
Right.
I didn't feel that in Germany. Most of the time, they help you for a reason to get something.
Right.
And here, I don't have that many times. They just they just help you because
That's
they want
true.
you to succeed, and
It's
I want
true.
to see that.
Yes.
And I feel the same. I would like to, help everyone and give back what I got to experience. So
Right.
It's different.
Yeah, it's very true. I agree. Like the sense of community is more real here. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, and not everyone is out just to get something.
No, actually not.
And they like to connect. I mean, I feel a very strong, like, women help women kind of community in the U.S.
Yeah, like Albright as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Totally,
That's
yeah.
true. So do you think entrepreneurship or being an entrepreneur is like a born trait or is a learned trait?
Wow, that's hard. I think it's a little bit about how you grow up. My father has had his own company, so I saw how he lived and how he could decide kind of his own hours. But he was his own boss, so probably that was what shaped me the most. Because if he would have had a 9-to-5 job and never had his own business, I would probably not have the idea to even do this.
That's true. That's true. No, I agree. Like your parents are a big influence in your life.
And people around you maybe that you see succeed and do different things.
Yeah. Is there any celebrities that you look up to? That's like your big role model.
That's really hard because I'm very bad with knowing who is the celebrity.
Me too. Trust me.
But probably if I look in the dog world, it was Cesar Milan.
Oh yes, of course. Yes.
I always looked up to him.
Oh, did you train your dog through
I
Caesar's method?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it work?
It did. Funny enough, that was the only method that worked for him. He was a bulldog. They're very stubborn.
Yes, they
So
are.
I tried all the methods. I mean, I wouldn't say he was really well trained, but it worked. Yes. But I just love to watch his program also because it's like, it's not only for dogs. It's actually the people that change for their dogs.
Yeah, it's more discipline on the owners, right?
Yeah.
Because the dogs are really...
Yeah,
that's
true. You're changing your energy level.
That's true. That's very, very true. Yeah. Because dogs can sense it, right? They're very keen. Yes. So what is your first stab at being an entrepreneur? Because I know this is not your first.
No. I started after the event company, which we had like 10 people hired, and it was big. We sold it, and then I invented a beauty cocktail.
Oh,
an anti-aging cocktail with caviar collagen.
Wow!
And I won the Grey Goose Challenge with it, and then launched it in Monaco.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that was a journey.
What did you learn from that journey?
Don't be in the spirit industry.
Oh, really?
It's really tough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would think you would be very happy because everyone's drinking.
Yeah, but maybe it was also timing. I really have to say the experience is that you have to have the right timing for a product to bring it to the market. And it was way back, and nobody knew what collagen was. Now everyone knows collagen is good for your skin.
That's true.
And since it was an alcoholic beverage, you couldn't advertise anti-aging and stuff like that. So it was more about like, if you write it's a vodka with collagen, people had to know like, this is good for me, good for my skin.
Right.
And it wasn't the time.
Right. That's true. I think that was before the whole skinny vodka
Yes.
revolutionary thing, right?
Fortunately, yes.
Who would have thought like a woman or skinny vodka? That would be like, that would be the marketing message. But you never know.
No. And also I think it was the wrong country too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is
successful here. Probably.
Yeah, that's true because the marketing is so different here.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think is the most important attributes to be an entrepreneur and to be successful?
Persistent.
Yes. Number one.
Passion. I think fearless because you really have to do things sometimes that you're not comfortable with. You have to get out of your comfort zone to learn and be ready to learn and be ready to fail, which I think you have to fail to be successful.
That's true.
That's true. And be open with getting advice and taking advice.
Right. That's very important. Yeah, because
surrounding yourself with good people.
Yes,
are better than you.
That's true. That growth mindset is really important. And then a lot of women say or a lot of people just in general think that women entrepreneurs, they're very different because they're very emotional. Do you think that's true?
Well, I think that you can run your business with heart, and emotions, and passion. And I agree that I feel more connected with a company when a woman runs it, because
I agree.
Because the message is different.
Right.
It's not like, even if all of us want to succeed, but we have most of the time a passionate, emotional reason to start something. And I wouldn't say that all male run companies have that.
I agree, because that care, that understanding, that's very innate to a woman. Is very important to helping the people who come who come onto our journey as an entrepreneur, make it more successful, because we can relate.
That's true. That's why it's probably better to work together with women, they understand you and they don't use that.
Exactly. Okay, let's take a little short break and we'll be back in an instant.
Now you can try before you buy on Kollectin. Introducing Experience, the new way to shop jewelry. Flaunt your style and express your creativity with experience. Get it today, only on Kollectin.
We're back with Anja from Happy Again Pet and her awesome collagen supplement to help your joint health. No, not your joint, but your dog's joint health.
It's human grade. You can take it yourself.
Oh, yeah, we can take it. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to ask you about that. So tell me about the product. What is Happy Again Pet?
It's a collagen-based supplement for dogs that also has hyaluronic acid, glucosamine, and vitamins. It's a whole formulation that helps the dogs to prevent and to treat or support the treatment of joint diseases that they're facing through their life.
Oh, okay.
And it also supports the skin and the coat and their digestion.
Oh, okay. So is it just for old dogs, or all dogs can take it?
Especially when you have puppies that it's a bigger breed in their growing phase. You give them the right nutrition so everything can develop the right way. And then I would start with age 2, when the collagen in the body of the dog naturally breaks down.
Okay. Now I got a little bag from you from our last event. So it comes in a powder form. Can you tell the audience maybe a little bit about how much do you give the dog? Can you give too much? How do you use it?
So it's a powder, very pure. There are no additives, no fillers, no artificial flavors or preservatives. And you sprinkle that over their food or put it in water. And it depends on the size, the weight of the dog, how much. It's from 1 to 4 scoops a day, depending on if you have a Chihuahua or German Shepherd.
Right. Because joint issues with dogs is actually pretty much every dog, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very common.
Yeah, it's the same as in people. We get older, our collagen breaks down, and we get aches on the hips and the back, and we train to have the supporting muscles to not get that. The problem is with dogs is that we cannot tell them from now on you stay on the sofa, you're not doing so much sports. That's not for them. They want to move, they want to chase balls, and
that's true.
So I think many first-time owners are not aware of the consequences of not a good diet for the dog.
Right.
And that's why we're trying to educate them to support their dogs with really the best supplement and prolong their lives.
Right. So tell me about the story, how you came up with the product.
So as you talked about, my background is in cartilage tissue engineering. I back then I grew cartilage in the lab to build a test model to avoid animal testing.
Oh, okay.
So we grew cartilage and then tested for rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, nice.
And
that's cool. It's so scientific.
Yes. So at that time, my dog Tony, who loved to skateboard, was a passionate skateboarder, English bulldog, was like this whole thing. Every night at 6, he would go skateboarding. and he had shoulder issues. So the veterinarian said no more skateboarding, it's not good for him. And he really got depressed and was whining and sitting at home. And it just broke my heart to see him like that. And he wasn't that old yet. So I tried a couple of supplements that were on the market and nothing happened. And then I was looking at the ingredients and was pretty surprised that they didn't use what I used to regrow the matrix of the cartilage in the lab. And that's how I mixed it and then gave it to him. And a week later, he was back.
Wow.
And that's also the name because he was happy again.
Right. So now mainstream media makes it look like, wow, you have this product, it's wonderful. And then all of a sudden you're successful. Now, was it hard to come up with that first bag or first bottle of the product?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I developed it for my dog, not with the thought that this is going to be my business.
Right.
It was more like I had friends, I had family, I had people trying it. I tried it myself to see what happens. My parents did. And there was this woman calling me one day and she cried and I didn't even know her. And she said, well, because of your supplement, my dog stood up and I can go back to work because she's changed her life.
Wow.
So that was the moment I decided to produce a product that can help all dogs and make it available on the market.
Right.
But that journey is long.
Right.
And you have to find a producer, a manufacturer that does these small orders in the beginning. You have to get money for it. You have to find a logo, a design, apply for that. And we went through EU licensing, which took a long time. So there's no risk of eating too much of it and all these product-specific stuff for veterinarians that had to be tested. So it's a long journey to even get to the first production.
Oh, wow. How long was that?
Probably a year.
A year from
altogether.
concept to actually product.
Yeah.
And
then that first product changed many times until we have it now.
That's true. There are always tweaks. Always tweaking.
And that's another thing that I think you have to learn through the journey, that your first product will never be perfect. And you shouldn't wait until it's perfect.
I agree.
Just totally go out and it will change and it will change. And you just have to be open for this.
Right. And keep getting feedback and, getting get advice.
Yes.
And then you look at it some more, you're like, okay, I'm going to change this, change that.
Exactly.
Do you think you're very picky or you're like a perfectionist in terms of that? Or,
yeah. I actually, in the beginning, that was a big lesson for me. I didn't want to change anything. I thought this was perfect. And others didn't know. So that I had to learn. Yeah.
Okay. So now, being a startup nowadays, it's so different than in the past. Social media is such a big factor. So how are you approaching social media for your company and for this new product?
Well, I mean, I think without social media, you cannot sell a product nowadays. You have to be really present. And that's a challenge. And it's also a positive thing because now you can reach so many more people through social media. But the challenge is to be there and get over this noise that is everywhere.
Right.
And that people trust what you're saying.
Right.
I think that was one main thing why I really wanted to work with Caesar, because people trust what he says.
Right, exactly.
And nowadays, it's even if you're a scientist, people think that's not true.
Right.
Just selling something.
That's true. That's true because there's just too many products out there. So how did you get Caesar Milan to be your equity partner? Tell us that.
The product that convinced him.
Yes, the product. Yep,
well, first to get the meeting, I think I was pretty persistent with his manager. And then it helped that his name was Tony. And my dog's name's Tony. So it was, and when I got that meeting, I mean, he said, everything you said about the product sounds really good, but I tried everything and I'm happy to try it because Junior, his dog, back then couldn't really walk. He was in pain and was on pain relief. And he tried the product and then I sent more product to other clients of him and other dogs he tried it on. And then he got back to me and said it's the first product that ever worked.
Oh, wow.
So that's
so
why
the product
we
speaks for itself, basically. So you impressed him. you changed his dog's life. Well, the product, I'm sure you too, because it's hard to find a partner. Yeah,
that's true. But I mean, we have an aligned vision to help dogs and make their life better.
Right.
And I think that's all it needs.
Yeah, that's true. So being an entrepreneur today seems much more difficult than being in the past. Like, Like in the past, for us to sell product, you probably just go to a trade show, or you just call up the retailer, and then if they love it, they'll try it. But nowadays it's so difficult. Like you have to put a website, you have to get, PR, media, everything else. So what advice would you give a starting entrepreneur who wants to have a product business like yours to get it out into the public?
I think there is a lot of things that you should do, but you don't have to. Like trade shows are good, but I always advise that you first have to look if it's really worth it for you, because you can spend a lot of money on PR, on trade shows, on travels that are not necessary.
Right.
And most of the time it's the network and the right connections that actually gets you where you want it. Like we got into places because they saw the product on social media, and then some people talked about it, and we just convinced some stores because they tried it and they said it was really working. It might take longer, but you also build relationships.
That's true, because the best way to sell a product is through a trust network. People trust that whatever you put out is a great product, and they'll come back over and over again. It cannot be a gimmick. You have to love it, do it, and be like true and honest with it. So I know US people are like crazy about their dogs. Do you think this Happy Again pet product could also be international? And what are your plans?
Well, we actually shipped our first batch to Singapore this week.
Oh, wow.
So
congrats. You're now an export company as well.
And since we're producing in Germany, we're already importing too.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Europe is also a great market, maybe a little bit after the US, because they're not as ready to spend as much as US people do. But Asia is a very interesting market for us.
Right, that's true. Because Asians are actually catching on to be a big pet-friendly like community. Because back in the days, actually, pets are not a very big thing in Asia. Because I'm Chinese. So, they come from the days when they eat dogs to now they're like their favorite toys, right?
Exactly.
So it's a long way, but it's changing.
Oh, and it's changing fast.
Right, exactly.
And it's great to see, and especially over there, collagen has always been in their culture.
Right.
So there's no explanation we need to do. When they see collagen supplement, they know.
That's true. That's true.
So that's a good part.
That's nice. Yeah. So do you try to find, is there people who do it for you, like distributors, or are you just the word of mouth?
We got approached by many people that wants to sell this in Asia.
Oh, that's nice.
And we partnered with one for Singapore that we trust and did our research.
Oh, that's great.
So we're starting there.
Okay.
But Korea and Japan are next.
Oh, yeah. Japan is a big market because I have a friend who sells a huge amount of cashmere sweaters to dogs and pet owners in Japan. They're like $300-400 US, but they're willing to spend. So it's a huge market there. Now, we talked about using this product on humans. Do you think you ever make it for humans?
So many people ask me that. I love pets and I want to change their life, and I wanted to make a product that is good enough for the dogs. So I tested it on humans. Right. The other way around. But I do take it myself every morning as a preventative, because I do sports and I know what will happen in my joints. But what I have to warn everyone, it's really not tasting very good for humans. So I put it in my smoothie. But we had many discussions about that, and we got approached by many companies to do this, and there might be a way one day.
Okay. Maybe. But you're going into other product lines, right? Yes. So what other new products are you going to come out with other than just the powder? We
will have a liquid product of Happy Again.
Oh, that's nice.
That's also more supportive for skin and coat. Will come out next year. We have 2 sticks that are already on the market. They have 1 scoop of collagen in them. It's more like a healthy treat, a treat with benefits.
Right.
And then we're going to introduce dog food next year.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Actually, dog food is a huge industry. Yeah, because it's really hard to trust any dog food makers nowadays, I feel. True. Right?
Ours is human grade. Yeah. So I eat that myself.
It doesn't taste very good, but
it tastes actually good. It's just not, there's no salt.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Pretty plain.
Yeah.
But it's, we only use muscle meat and real meat pieces and fish. We have a whole sardine in it.
Oh, nice.
And it's a very different approach.
Oh.
But you will get to know more, I would tell you.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try. My dog's going to try. I may try it. Who knows? So let's talk about influence, because we didn't really talk about your brand influence. What do you think makes you influential?
I think the knowledge that we can give to people about health, wellness for their pets. And I just want to be honest. I want to be an honest brand that people turn to and ask questions, and we will give them the best product we can and develop, and give them more ideas how they can help dogs to live the best and healthiest life. But also with the science, and as a female founder, I think we have a big challenge, or a big opportunity to be inspirational for others, for other women.
That's true. Exactly.
To start businesses and help and.
Because it is tough starting a business. And being women, I think, gives it a little bit of a double whammy.
Yeah, especially for the funding part.
Right. Oh, yeah. So is it difficult?
Oh, that's the hardest journey, I would say. Yes.
Oh, I would say too. Yes. I agree with you.
That is like where you never be prepared of.
Oh, yes. Have you gone out to talk to some of these? Are you looking for professional, or are you looking for more like private?
Angels. We have some angels. We're fortunate enough to found some really good private angels that supported us in the start, but we are fundraising right now, so we are talking to a lot of people, but it's very challenging. It's like you're a different person going into those meetings as what you actually want to do, run your business.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, because a lot of these I've been there. Still doing that all the time, because now the businesses nowadays all have to fundraise. Yeah.
Because you have to grow.
Yes. Yeah. And they talk a different language, and mostly men.
Yes.
Is there any weird, wacky things that you've gotten as a question or a feedback from them?
I think mainly more in Europe, and I started with that I got really strange question, more like going out for a drink instead of looking at my company. But I don't know. It's all about numbers, growth. Right. Many times I feel they're missing the passion and the heart behind this to see that this company will grow, but it needs money. True. It's always the chicken and the egg.
Right. That's true. Actually, one of my weird comments I got one time was, "Have you never watched Shark Tank?"
Oh my God.
I was like, "Yes, I've watched Shark Tank." I'm like, okay. Wow. And then another one I got was like, "Oh, women would never help other women." And I was like, you know what? We're talking to the wrong people if you don't think women will help women. And it was coming from a man.
Wow.
And I was like, no.
Well, they were right back in the days.
That's true.
But now there are a lot of girls clubs starting.
Right. So. Yep. And a lot of support network. This is the best time for all women entrepreneurs. Starter, totally. Everything. Content creators, everything. This is like the time to be a woman. Yes. And really be like, happy. Yes. Spread our wings, make a difference, impact the world.
Totally.
Yep. So thank you, Anja, for joining us today and sharing your amazing stories. You're very inspirational for women, especially in the world of science, engineer, and entrepreneurship. And for all of you out there who haven't followed Anja at Happy Again Pet, you can do so now, or you can follow her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever social media is available now for all companies, and LinkedIn. Yes. And that's how we connected too, on LinkedIn. And if you enjoy our podcast today, please subscribe to our podcast and check out our videos on our website, girlinfluencepower.com, or on Collectin's YouTube channel. So there you have it, Anja.
Right.
It's not so bad. It's just one quick hour. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.